Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. One of Iceland's few pro boxers, heavyweight Gunnar Kolbienn Kristinsson, who's currently 11-0 but listed as 10-0 on BoxRec, has signed a promotional contract with Dmitry Salita of Selita Promotions. So Selita adding to his burgeoning heavyweight stable, and we'll come to that later. But what's really fascinating about this story is Kristensen comes from Iceland, where pro boxing is banned. So for him to come through and become a heavyweight boxer from a country where it's banned, he's plying his trade elsewhere in the likes of Sweden and Finland. It really shows it's a labour of love. And Kristensen is a electrician by trade, so he's giving up a lot to pursue a pro boxing career because he can't really get much of a go in Iceland itself. And they've had pro boxing banned since the 50s. So for him to come through, become a pro boxer, and there's not a massive boxing infrastructure in Iceland. So it's very different to Cuba, where pro boxing is banned, but amateur boxing is a massive thing. Not so much in Iceland. So really, it is a remarkable story of him becoming a pro boxer from a country like Iceland. So I'll get to the press release first, and then on to maybe the what next, because with Selita having a number of heavyweights on his books now, maybe Kristensen can get a few fights with Selita's other heavyweights. But you can see here on screen, so Selita Promotion signs undefeated Icelandic heavyweight Gunnar Kolbienn Kristinsson to a promotional contract. So the press release says Kristensen is the only active male fighter in his homeland and just the third in the country's history. As an amateur, the 31-year-old was Icelandic champ and fought at the Amateur World Championships and Olympic qualifier tournaments. Currently training in Detroit under Javan Sugar Hill Stewart at the Kronk Gym, Kristensen will have his debut fight under the Selita Promotions banner on Friday, January 17 at the Winter Vegas Casino and Resort in Sloan, Iowa, on the untelevised undercard of the 250th edition of Showbox, The New Generation. So he says, I feel very excited about signing with Selita. It's a big opportunity, and I know we're going to do big things together. I came to Detroit to train with Sugar Hill because I was at a point in my career where I needed more experience, world-class coaching. My goal in boxing has always to be undisputed world champion. This signing brings me closer to that goal. Very optimistic goal, to say the least. So Selita says further down, the heavyweight division is buzzing. Coley is a big, skilled, undefeated fighter from a unique place for boxing. I've been watching him train with Sugar Hill at the Kronk Gym, and I see consistent improvement. With continued training and a busy fight schedule, I see Coley progressing to a world-class level in the heavyweight division. That's Dimitri Selita, the new promoter for Gunnar Kolbienn Kristinsson. And having a look at his Instagram, because I'm not going to say that, I know a lot about this fighter and then I've seen him a lot, because his fights just really haven't been televised. But he is a big 6'6" guy, 250 pounds, and he's actually been training at the Kronk Gym, not just recently, but for some time. He's been making trips there. This one here is from November, but further down his Instagram feed, there's some different shots from 2018. So this is from May 2019 with Sugar Hill Stewart, but you keep going down and there is more evidence that he was there. So this one's from September 2018. So Gunnar Kolbienn Kristinsson really has been putting in a lot of time and effort, given his circumstances in a country where pro boxing is banned, to improve his lot. Traveling to the United States to train with a very good coach in Sugar Hill Stewart at the Kronk Gym, the famed Kronk Gym, trying to get some the Manny Stewart style of to his game. But in terms of the record, yeah, it's a bit thin. So BoxRec lists him as 10-0. That press release, you might recall, said 11-0. And I did find an article on him as I was researching this that talked about there was something to do with one of those fights that BoxRec hadn't actually signed that off. But it does mention here that he's sparred with Erkan Tepe, Ajit Kabayel, Filip Hrgovic. And from his BoxRec too, because it mentions Robert Helenius here, he's had quite a bit to do with Robert Helenius, helped spar Robert Helenius at different points. I'll just try to find one of them. Well, here's one of them. But there's various shots of him and Helenius. Most of his fights have either been in Finland or Sweden, but he's been helping Helenius at different spots in the past year or so. But the record itself, 10-0 as listed by BoxRec. That fight coming up on January 17, as you can see. Not a lot there. There's a number of journeymen here, but I don't recognize a number of these names, and I'm not going to pronounce half of them either. Some of them are just going to be impossible. Mostly 4-rounders so far, a couple of 6-rounders in there. Nothing really of note. Most of these guys, journeymen, 32 losses, 10 losses, 18 losses, 10 losses. Interesting to note, though, that only the 4 KOs from the 10 listed fights. So even though he's a big 6'6" guy, 250 pounds, I'm sure even at this stage of his career, there may be some doubt about how much pop he is actually carrying, given he hasn't been able to knock over some of these journeymen. But signing with Dmitry Selita is going to give him some opportunities. And just having a look at Selita's webpage here, this is his promotions page, he co-promotes Jarrell Miller. That's not really a realistic fight, but I'm just trying to illustrate Selita's burgeoning heavyweight stable. He has Jermaine Franklin. He also has the unbeaten Abdi Davtayev. Also further down here, which I won't scroll to, Otto Warren, and I believe he also still promotes or has something to do with at least Samuel Peter. So there's some guys that he could probably work his way towards on the way up if he gets to any real level in the heavyweight division. Franklin being among them, and maybe Davtayev as well. Maybe he ends up being cannon fodder for one of those guys as a sort of stay busy fight. I don't know. But this is a very interesting story and a tale of perseverance, really. And he's obviously spent a lot of money to pursue this dream of heavyweight boxing, and he's not really a known name in Iceland by the sounds of it. And an electrician by trade, but wanting to be a heavyweight boxer and become undisputed champion. And from his record, he's only got the 10 listed fights here. He's been pro since 2014. Hasn't actually had a fight since 2018. So he's going to be blowing off some rust here. So that was May 2018 was his last fight. And even before that, one fight in 2017. So it has been a stop-start career for Gunnar Kolbienn Kristinsson. But all the best to him. So, a piece of interesting news that I sort of caught my eye, and I thought, I want to talk about this. But what do you make of it all? Drop a comment, loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter. Boxing_squared. I'm out.